All right, we're back again. Breeding guys is doing all right. We want to get both of these lots out to fly today. I'm going to get the older ones out first, and we're going to go check out these guys because there's a little bit going on in there that we need to talk about. It's kind of getting to that time of the year, and we are getting a few numbers sort of racked up with the few babies that are just hatched and some of the eggs in there. We've got around about 40 in these two sections that will be able to fly. And my goal was kind of around the, between 50 to 70. I didn't want like a huge team, but just enough to, get through as much of the main sprint series as I can, which goes out to like 500 kilometers, whatever anyway. So that's kind of what my aim is. And I didn't want too many birds. I just want to spend a lot more time with them this year, get them ready, because I want the birds shut off by Christmas. And then he gives us like 4 to 5 months-ish, I think, to start prepping them and getting them ready for that's all tossing and everything. And these guys want to come out. They're getting pretty excited. They were out yesterday. You've seen the video, or the day before, I think. They're sort of getting used to it because they were on eggs. But I'm getting all these older ones back in and dialed in because I really want to get them to train all the younger ones. There's a few in here and they're doing pretty well. I want to get them all dialed in and flying, and then we can probably separate the cocks and the hens, because I don't want them to get like this and get a little bit eggy. I don't want them taking over the floor and things like that. So that's kind of what we got to try and stop a little bit. So that's all fair for all the birds. I don't like all this ones taking over everything and thinking they can breed. So we will have to sort of somehow try and separate the birds, which we can do here. We can kind of fit 40 on each side if we really need to. We've got 30 perches there, another 12 on the sides. Those ones we may put back in. I just took them down so I can give that a good paint, and we might put them back in sometime in the near future, but I think we're going to need it. And once again, they're starting to climb up pretty high, which is good. We got the sea breeze that come in, which is really good in the afternoon to sort of cool the birds down a bit, because it's been ridiculously hot. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit more on these ones. I'm glad this camera zooms in, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'd really like to get the main lot of birds, which are just there, all back dialed in, flying for a while, trapping really quickly. So then when we get all the little ones going, they're going to help push them, because that was one of the biggest things we had to deal with last year, is just a rush to get the birds ready, and I don't want that this year. That's why I think we can probably get away with a little bit less if we spend a lot more time on them and be prepared. They're definitely doing well. We've got two sort of separated by himself, which is interesting. Oh, here he comes. Right, I might get some food in here for them. I got one up on the roof. Yeah, I don't really want a massive ton of birds. I want just enough that we can get through those 6 to 7 races with. I don't do the full seasons. I just do that sprint series, which is a sprint to middle. It's almost middle distance for a lot of you European guys, because it goes from about 200 out to about 550, 600 if we go all the way. But I'll generally stop about 500 Ks, just because I don't need to go that far. We've got a few birds come back in, but I like to talk about it, keep you guys in the loop, because significantly different over here. Come on, because we are just coming into summer now, and things are going to get really, really hot. That's why this loft is very open. We have I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but we get up to about 40 to about 44, 45 degrees in here in summer, which is considered really hot. So that's why at the moment the birds are panting, because we've just had that real weather change, and their fitness definitely needs to increase as well. So it's just one of those things. That's a cockbird. Why are you chasing him? They're both boys. What are you doing? Come on. So this was what I'm just getting them in line at the like. I'm not going to stress about getting them up flying for an hour to 2 hours until the weather starts to sort of cool down a bit, which will be at the start, probably just after February. That's when we'll really sort of start focusing on getting these guys up and flying for a long period of time. At the moment, I'm happy for them to go out 20 minutes to half an hour and just have a bit of a flap around. We can probably get them out earlier in the morning, but that's my prime time for falcons. So it's going to be a balancing act. It was last year, but we've learned a lot from last year. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more success this year. Come on. See if a couple of them want to come in. Because I'll get those other little babies out once these other ones come in. Mom! Mom! Come on! They're just a bit slow because we're in the breeding season, and you'll see there's cockbirds chasing hens around. Like, we've got a bit to do, but we'll get there. But I'm going to film it all. Let's go check out these breeding ones anyway. Come on. I do want to get the other ones out today too, so mosey on in, please. Come on. The little Mealy's been a bit of a cheeky one. She's hanging out a bit. Hey, Mr. Sparks. Come on. You are the last one. Come on. Come on. You're taking your time. All right, in you go. Let's get over and have a look at the other birds. I might just shut these up for a moment because I kind of got to sort through which ones have the pink ring on it, which are our one loft race birds. So basically I've had a lot of questions with the one loft ones anyway. So any of the one loft birds that do make it through the full one loft season, they will be returned back to me. So any of these birds that do really well, they will be flown back to me. I have to pay for them, but if they don't make the season, then they don't come back. So that's kind of, I'm just trying to answer a few questions, but I will answer as many questions as I can on my other channel that I will have. It's more of just a question answering thing, where this one's like a daily vlog thing where I just try and get a video up every day about every craziness that's happening here, because these guys are a lot of work. And we're getting there. Now let's go and have a look at these breeders, because gosh, someone just sat on my head. Right, let's get in here. Oh, this rooster's annoying. I usually lock him up, but we've only just let him out. So we've got a few decisions to make in here in the near future. I am going to keep this loft, but I'm talking about the amount of stock birds that I've got. I am getting a few more bred for me. I'm going to do a little bit of a young bird swap as well, so I'm going to send a couple over and we're going to get a couple back. So the person that actually bred Apache and Rosetta is going to send us over a couple more. So I may give him one of these Cassats as well, because he really wants one. So I've got two, so potentially the pied one, we'll have a look at him when he comes back in a bit more, because I've got the other one here. I really want to breed off this one. I just think he'll be a really good match for the hens that we got, but she's over here still laying as well. So I am going to have a little bit of a tidy up with some of these stock birds. I've got a lot of stock birds. I'm just going to have a bit, I'm not going to go into it too much just yet, but it's kind of one of those things. We just got to get there at some point, because we ended up with, well, that turned out to be, he was a cock, but then he turned into a cock, and we just got birds all over the place and all these uneven pairs, and it just sort of makes things a little bit harder. I originally only wanted one pair of hardy KRUGERs. That was what my goal was. So I may look at moving two of the KRUGERs on. I really like Mr. KRUGER, so I'd say that he's going to stay. I go by gut feeling, and I was having this conversation today that all my good birds are from gut feelings. That I generally, that's kind of how I feel with things. If I really like a bird and I'm like, yep, that's a good bird, and it tends to work out reasonably well for me. So I'm kind of going to go with my gut feelings. So I really like that cockbird that's in here. We may even keep this one, because he's definitely growing on me as well. We will go through him anyway. There's Mr. KRUGER there. He's a nice cockbird too, but I don't know how well he was conditioned before he come here, because he's looking a little bit scruffy, and he's only had one lot of babies, so we may have to go a little bit easy on him. See how he was really beautiful when we had him for a couple of weeks. We got him in really good condition, but it seems like these babies have knocked him around a little bit, so I'm going to take it easy on him. We'll probably get another round out of him and maybe give him a break, but I don't want to push him too hard, because you can get, you know, have a look at Big King here. He's one of my guys I've had here for a while, and he, you know, he looks pretty good, yeah, compared to old Mr. KRUGER. He looks pretty scruffy, so, you know, I'm just going to take it easy on him. We don't need to breed a lot more birds, so I really want to do just like some selective pairings. A few of these will still go, a couple more rounds here and there. I may move on this cockbird as well. We do, just saying, we've got a lot. But we're going to leave you here with Mr. King because you're producing pretty well. I would like to do a special pairing later on, just do one round maybe, of her with someone else, with a few other pairs, like mixing up Apache and Rosetta and Leo and Storm and things like that, and just do sort of one round as like late breeds. But, you know, this is all fun and games at the moment because our main aim is to get that you know, 50 to 60 kind of birds out, and then after that we can kind of just play around a little bit because then I don't have to stress too much. But that's basically it for now. I might go sort through those other birds, but just keep me in the loop. And a lot of you will be like, oh, you just got like those 8 new birds. See, I've had them for a little while now. I didn't want that many birds. I just had to get that many birds to make it worthwhile for the guy that was selling them, to get them on 2 different aeroplanes and then ship them over to me. So I may look at selling a few off, bits and pieces, and just keeping the few that I really like, because we are going to have a lot of stock birds still. So yeah, just keep me in the loop, making sure I explain everything thoroughly. But I will see you in the new video probably tomorrow, most likely. And there's no harm playing with birds like that either.